Let me bring in Nick Cater now, the Menzies Research Centre Chief Executive. Good to talk to you again, Nick. They do hide a lot of candidates, don't they? Both major parties, for various reasons. They like to focus on the leaders and the front benches alone.
I think the people that run these both campaigns, put a whole new meaning on the word control freak. I mean, look, understandably, they got 6 weeks to get the message out. They want to have it planned. They don't want surprises. They don't want things that are unexpected. But unfortunately, you and I have worked in newspapers for a long time, in journalism, and news doesn't happen like that. It's more spontaneous. So there's often a clash there. But I can understand why they do this in party HQ, but I can understand the frustration sometimes on the ground, even from candidates who'd like to get out and say more, but they're being told to just concentrate on the door knocking.
I thought the leaders' debate last night was great. I thought it was great to see a bit of biffo, and I thought the journos were able to drill down and put some pressure on both leaders about their policies. And Anthony Albanese, for instance, was forced to basically reveal that he can't increase people's wages except for public servants. He can't do anything to push up wages across the country. And Scott Morrison picked up on that today. Here's the Prime Minister.
He's been banging on about this for the last 3 years, talking about how he can boost wages, but when push come to shove and he had to answer the question, can you increase wages? Well, he can't. And there's no magic wand to increase wages. There's no magic pen that makes it all happen. Voting at this election for the Labor Party doesn't automatically make your wages go up.
It's an interesting one, Nick, because it's, in many ways it's an election about not very much at all. But Labor's sort of promise is we'll increase your wages. They can't.
No, well, that's right. Of course they can't. The same way they can't bring down electricity prices by building new poles and wires. I mean, that's absurd. I mean, somebody's got to pay for those poles and wires. They've got a way of doing it, by the way, which will just take those off balance sheet, the same as they did with the NBN. But it's a pin and thimble trick, isn't it? In the end, the taxpayers end up paying for it one way or the other, either through their bills or through their taxes. Yeah. So, now, I was pleased to see Albanese pushed on some of these points yesterday.
Yeah. Now, I've got to talk about a point that you've referred to in your column today in The Australian, and that is the way the right of centre vote is fracturing to One Nation, to the Liberal Democrats, to United Australia. I mean, if you took all of the votes those people are getting and made them first preferences for the coalition, then it's a coalition landslide. That's where they're losing their votes, is these breakaway parties.
Well, that's right, and particularly at that end. I mean, there's been a lot of attention on the Teal candidates. I mean, the ABC is absolutely in love with them all. In fact, I think there's an argument the ABC is breaking its charter on advertising. The sort of way some of those reports are basically adverts for the candidates. But that is a challenge for coalition, a considerable one in certain seats. But overall, if you take the whole of the country, the real challenge is the votes that they may be losing to One Nation, to Clive Palmer's party, to some of the other independents, that they'll get some of those back in preferences, but not all of them. And that seems to be where those votes are sticking right now. I mean, personally, I think the polls are overstating the case quite considerably. They did last time, of course, at this stage in the campaign, so we shouldn't be surprised about that. There's a big, what we used to call shy Tory, but I guess we're calling a shy ScoMo vote in there. But there's also probably a shy One Nation and UAP vote. So I think all the votes for the centre-right or right-leaning voters are probably underestimated. But the big problem for the coalition is pulling those all back in the last 2 weeks of the campaign, and that's a very, very difficult task, seeing as how that primary vote has not been shifting at all.
Indeed, it's been diminishing, in fact. Thanks for joining us, Nick.
Thank you.
Nick Cater there from the Menzies Research Centre.